As I say, myself and Brian are the two colleagues that have been driving the wish list forward. Brian does the kind of communication side, and myself as a community development worker, I've been dealing with the communities, the community groups and things, and trying to match them up with the local contractors. So before we start the whole kind of rigmarole of the whole in-depth of it, we're going to show a wee video that we show every kind of conference or anything that we attend. Gives you a kind of oversight of the whole wish list process, but after the video we'll talk about each slide individually so that it makes a wee bit of sense. So over to Brian for the delivery. Thank you. Thanks very much. I know the sound isn't the clearest on this, but it is, we kind of share it more with community groups and things, and it's quite basic just for them to understand the whole process, because it does get kind of messy when you start to explain things. So a wee bit about the background. South Lanarkshire Council have been really, really lucky, obviously, to be part of this wish list process. Myself and Brian and Jen have really dealt closely with contractors and different types of suppliers who wish to maybe give something back to a community. And for us, personally, the main advantage for us is that myself being a community development worker, when you're on the ground and working with local community groups and third sector groups, you understand that the funding situation across the board is really, really tight for people. And sometimes it's not the big pots of funding they're looking for. It's the small, tiny, quick wins that make their deliverables a lot easier for themselves. So for ourselves, being part of this has been phenomenal. The wish list probably went completely live January, February time. The wishes came fast and furious. It's been phenomenal, the buy-in for local community projects. And again, we've probably had a right good few. I think, Brian, I'm talking about maybe 18, 19 are on the process of being completed and answered, and some are still in the process of being answered. So we're doing really well, and we're hoping today that you have a right good look at this service, and we hope it's something that you'd be happy to buy into and take it forward. So I'm going to hand over to Brian, and he'll discuss how we take it forward and the types of support that these local community groups are looking for.
So yeah, good morning again. Thanks everyone for coming along. So there's a range of different supports that various community groups can ask for. Now, we have divided these up into kind of 8 categories, but really it does kind of sometimes mean that it can be a bit of anything. So on the screen just now, it's like we've got a donation of IT equipment. So this could be any contractor suppliers that have maybe old IT equipment they've maybe refreshed and they're looking to kind of offload. For the volunteering time, there's 2 sections for this, like help and labour, skills and support. And the idea for that is if you have any staff that have got maybe a development day or a volunteering day that they get as part of their leave, or it might just be something that you as a kind of business think, oh, this would be great. You know, we can maybe give some staff that can help build that fence or can help them do this or help them design that, whatever it might be. Professional help and advice. We've had a couple of wishes come through looking for maybe a wee bit of help with accounts or maybe a wee bit of legal advice. Financial donation, as it says in the tins, they're literally looking for hard-earned cash, really, so to deliver whatever for the project. Goods and materials, always a very big popular one. Where community groups may be looking for something more specific. We will give a couple of examples of some of these categories later on in the presentation, but goods and materials could be wood, it could be food, potentially, although that could also come under the food donation. It could be they're looking for a heater, a defibrillator. It can really range from different things. Sorry, there's so much things just popping up on my screen. Sorry. Yeah, so yeah, it's a range of different supports, but even though we do have these 8 categories, there is we do have a kind of catch-all other, and we have had a couple of wishes in this other. They don't necessarily fit in one of these 8, but we still think it's a valid support that they're potentially asking for, and it could just be they're more around to do with they're looking for premises almost, but that's on the more kind of extreme end of the wish list. But we do want to make sure that the wishes are all still acknowledged where possible. So just wanted to give some kind of more in-depth kind of examples of wishes. And I kind of touched on these briefly. So I've got four that I've kind of got here. So the donation of the materials could be wood, a shed or plants for local community garden, IT equipment. A community group could be offering could offer classes to the local community or upgrade existing equipment, or financing new items that they potentially need. Sharing expert professional advice with the organisation who have asked for some specific support and development of a project they're running. So again, could be around their finance or their governing documents or anything like that. And again, this is other goods and materials. It could be a donation of musical instruments to a music youth project that are offering music lessons for potential young people or even any kind of older people as well. We do have an example of this kind of later on, but you can see it can be a massive range of different things. And we'll probably touch on some of these as we go on. And I'll just pass on back to Heather to give you some of our success stories.
Thanks, Brian. So as Brian said, we've had a load of success in some period of time, and contractors have been phenomenal. Some have came with items of material, some have came with money opportunities, or they've just been like, we'll buy the products and we'll deliver. So the whole thing's been great. So on these at the moment, we've got the Village Theatre. That's Joanne in the picture, who'd identified running the Village Centre in East Kilbride. It's massive. I don't know if any of you know where it is. It's got a community cafe. It runs loads of different activities for every age on a daily basis. But Joanne has started a kind of arts group, and the problem was, while the art group was running, the cafe was running, other things were running, so she was 6 tables short to deliver and keep that process running. So Findle contractors. They were phenomenal and donated them 6 tables at £180 each, which get delivered to ourselves, and then we get delivered out to the village theatre. And if I could tell you, when she's wrote her wee blurb, which you will see further on, I mean, it's just life-changing for them. Again, Findle donated to the local primary school a defibrillator. Again, that came from the Parent Council, who identified that there was a need in educating young people and children within the classes what a defib was, how it worked, and how important it was to actually have something like this in your local community. And again, the bottom one, as I mentioned, and we actually loved them. Brian went out to see them, and their actual garden, everything's it's phenomenal. But they wanted to start obviously their own kind of wee band and a musical time as well. Some of them are like musicians, and we were really, really lucky that Jettison Waste and Rutherglen came forward with guitars, violins, banjos. I mean, just phenomenal. It's changed their life. I mean, apart from doing all their wood projects, that was just something that somebody had lying about. And again, they've done loads for us recently as well. Jettison, we've got a nursery, a local nursery, who have got a load of rubbish sitting out in their the back end of the school, where there's been a lot of building works and things like that, and they've answered that wish to go and remove it and take it to the dump and get rid. So it's been great that these companies who have already delivered are now coming back to us and saying, God, we've read the wish list, is there anything else there? And again, myself and Brian, we can go straight to them and say, this has now come through, is it something else you would like to answer? So I'll let Brian pass him on to the next one, and he'll give you the next in-depth one.
No, we're really always proud to talk about our success stories, and it was really, really hard for us to choose some. So I think we've got 8 that we're going to quickly go through, but it's really, really hard because every single group that we work with is so unique in how they appreciate it. It's something so small can change the group quite considerably. So the next batch of kind of success stories, the first one just on the left. It was actually our very first wish that we got answered, and it was actually a relatively simple wish. A wee bit of a backstory is a lady was part of the Old Blantyres Parish Church's congregation who sadly passed away, but she left a considerable amount of money to the church. So the woman who passed away was a nurse, and what the church thought would be really good is we'll use that money and buy defibrillators. So this nurse, who is no longer with us, is still saving lives to this day. But the problem it was that where the defibrillator was installed, it didn't have another light, because you have to have a defibrillator, has to have its own power source, so it can't use the same power source as the building. So we had to, there was a lot of logistics to this one to make sure they had that second light. Block Architects very kindly came across and they installed the light for us, installed it out, and actually now, as the church will say, it's like a wee beacon shining on the defibrillator. And since this has happened, that defibrillator has been used 4 times, potentially saving up to 4 additional lives. So it's an absolutely magic one. And I say that was our first wish to get answered, so we were very, very happy with that. And also the church were delighted, and I think the church has continued to kind of put some wishes in. And Block Architects, Heather will kind of pick on this one just on the next slide, but Block Architects has been great with that, and actually they've kind of helped with lots of other kind of wishes as well. And the kind of bottom wish was one of our financial donations. So this was a group in Blantyre in South Lanarkshire that received a cash donation of £250 from AM Phillips, and they were able to use that money to redecorate a kind of room that they used for their kind of service users. So you can't obviously see too much of the room in the kind of photo, but they did kind of put new wallpaper up. They bought a mini projector so people can play games consoles and things like that within that room, and that was something that they weren't able to do and they weren't able to afford to do. But with getting this financial donation, it meant that they were kind of empowered to do that change. And the last one on this slide was another one that was answered by Findle. And again, this was another group that was wanting to put on some local kind of workshops in their building, but the problem is their heating wasn't adequate for what they were looking for. So they actually asked for 1 storage heater, and that's how simple some of these wishes can be. That it can be something very, very simple. But what they did was, or what Findle does, they actually bought them 3 of these convection heaters, so that they're able to kind of run the workshops that they do need, and they can run these without needing to renovate all their heating supply that they've got. And that was something very, very quick for them, but it was great, and it meant that they can continue doing the kind of projects and work they do for people that were clearly needing these work. And I'll pass you on to Heather just for the last 2. Are you there, Heather?
Right, thanks for
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Thank you. I'm here. Just took a while there for it to come through. Oh, the slides moved again, Brian.
Are you not on the right slide?
No, it went over and then it's came back. Sorry, I'm still on your original one there. Is everybody else in the next one?
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
We can see
I can't see it.
What slide?
Yeah, there should be one after that, Brian. It did come up for me and then it's disappeared. But anyway, I know what it is, so I'll speak about it and then hopefully I'll catch up some. Oh, there it's came back for me. So, yeah, so listen, the top one there is a Rape Crisis Centre. And we're really quite proud about this because they've been under severe cuts financially over the past few years. And obviously we know again from South Lanarkshire Council there's probably going to be more cuts for them this year. So they were looking for any donations of toiletries, anything that a woman would need if she was running away from any like involvement that she just couldn't get out of and was going there obviously to stay either with herself and her children. So they've been a brilliant charity. But how this came about was, as Brian said, Block Architects, Kenneth Martin, just been phenomenal. He's been great, answered loads of different types of wishes for us. But his wife has actually got her own business as well. So he'd been sharing the wish list with every colleague, everything he's got within his mailing list. I think everybody's involved in it now. But anyway, his wife, Sandra, had a look through it and she was blown away that these type of charities are looking for a bit of support. So Sandra was absolutely phenomenal and donated £800 worth of products. She went and bought them and delivered them. And again, life-changing to that charity. The bottom one where you can see the Christmas tree, this is in Abington. This is again another local community centre with a local community group who took on an asset transfer. Again, things have been really quite tight for them, and this wish, believe it or not, was answered by another community group who had excess amount of Christmas tree, baubles and different stuff, and that's what the wish was for them. First year up and running, needed a Christmas tree, baubles and some gifts and things like that, and in between two different local community groups, they came together, and again, one was both are East Kilbride and donated to Abington, which again, we're just so proud of that other community groups are looking through the wishes and thinking, God, we can actually answer that because we've got that many donations that we can support others. So again, really, really proud of it, and we can only thank these guys for like sharing information. But I know Brian's going to move me on to the next slide, is how that you can support. So we think, again, myself and Brian, because we've created this website and we've created how this wish list is going to run. So we hope that we provide a really uncomplicated way for contractors and community groups to become involved and share what both need. For us, the website's very straightforward. Everything's transparent. When the applications go on, they're very simple to fill out. Every group can apply as long as they're a constituted group, and they can have 3 wishes live at any one time. So we've got to hope that the support that you offer chips away at this for us, and we get these wishes down, and that we've built relationships with yourselves that we can ask if there's something's came on that we know that's a wish that, or it's what your contractor or what your business can deliver. We then can make that contact with yourselves and hopefully get the majority of these answered pretty swiftly. It's bringing the private and the third sectors and communities together, fostering long-term positive relationships. And that's something that we know if you're working in ground level as development workers, that's a big downfall for so many different groups. They don't know who to contact. They don't think they should be involved with the private sector. They don't know how to contact businesses. And again, for yourselves as businesses, it's a very difficult situation to be in. A lot of people want to give stuff back, just don't know how to do it. So we're hoping that yourselves as potential suppliers can hopefully have a look over the wish list and see if there's something there that ticks your box. We review the wish list every 6 months. We kind of keep a track on everything that's happening, but generally in 6 months, we'll have a look and see what's still sitting there. If we can help match it up, great. If there's a situation where wishes haven't been answered, then we'll go back to the community groups or whoever's asked and just explain, listen, it's not been answered, but that's not to say it won't be, and we can keep it live for a year. Again, we'll revisit it in a year's time and say, listen, a lot of times we've got back to some groups and their wishes have been answered elsewhere. Just maybe somebody's went to them directly, and again, that's absolutely fine. If there's something there and you know that you can answer it and it's local to yourself, we're never going to stand in anybody's way. But to go through the wishes, obviously, I know Brian's going to touch just the publicity side for yourselves, free of charge from us, if you want to be involved. So I'll pass to Brian and let him go to the next slide with you.
So we want to kind of say, like, obviously we understand that businesses are essentially going to be giving something to community groups, but we do understand that, you know, there's something that we can also give you as well. So the couple of things we want to kind of highlight is, obviously, hopefully it gives a bit of a sense of pride for your local business, just to do, you know, to show that you're supporting local community groups. I think we've got a wrong bullet point in there, but I'll go into kind of the PR. We do a bit of PR around every single wish that gets answered. So we do like to put a little bit about what the community group is, what the wish is, but then also we want to put a little bit about the businesses that supported them. And then we currently publicise that through what we call the South Lanarkshire View, which is essentially South Lanarkshire Council's news website. Every article that goes onto that goes out to, or it's automatically sent to local and national press. It is up to local and national press if that's something they want to pick up, but we do put it out in our social media pages. And I was told by PR yesterday when I caught up with them, I have to say that we've got a reach of 50,000 on these, or between X and on Facebook. And then additionally, we've got more if we do share these on kind of LinkedIn. But we do want to make sure that we are giving each organisation a little bit of promotion for doing this. Because at the end of the day, the businesses are doing something great, the community groups are doing something great, so why are we not all kind of shouting about it? And if it helps any kind of businesses with extra things or whatever it might be, then that's always a positive. So Heather was going to go over, we've got some quotes from some of the businesses that we have already worked with, so I'll let Heather go through these ones.
Yeah, thanks again. Listen, I'll let you read these at your leisure. As I say, obviously, Kenneth Martin, I've spoken about my block architects have just been absolutely phenomenal. I know that the church was massive for them, and it was just phenomenal to see that they could support that and get that light up there. And I know Brian touched on it, but that defibrillator was used within the first hour of being fitted, and it actually did save the person's life. So we're really, really proud of that, to think that that one thing that was quite small for the majority of your probably businesses, that it's a small, minute thing to fit a light, but for that community, it's just been life-changing for them. Again, Kenneth's been great. He's a designer, he's got loads of other contacts, and we've been really, really lucky that sense that we can contact him direct now. We've built that relationship, and that's been phenomenal. Can you move on, Brian?
I have. I don't know if you can see it.
Sorry, it's just taking a wee bit longer for me to come through. Who's next, Brian? I can talk. Findle. Sorry, I can see it now. I think there might be a couple here from Findle. Again, Neil, same first name terms with him, been able to contact him many a time. But I know for him as well, it's just been phenomenal. He's worked in communities for a long time. He's delivered a lot of football, maybe recognise the name, but we've met up with him, and the passion he has as well to give something back. We're really, really lucky that Findle have bought into the process, and again have came back with another offer to deliver more money across South Lanarkshire. So again, really, really chuffed with that. But I'm not going to read them out. You can read them yourselves and see what it means to them themselves.
I think, just to add on to that, Heather, I think when we say Findle, with the 3 wishes they've already answered, they've put another commitment for another 4, so that's like 7 wishes already from one supplier. And I think it's absolutely great. And I'll just move on to the last quote. So it's Jetterson, Heather.
Yeah, I think as well what Brian's just said there, for us, I mean, we're really proud of it, and I hope that comes across during this, but it's for us, it's like when we get the press releases going and we get the photographs out and we put it along, and the contractor actually meeting the people who have asked for these wishes. Honestly, it's sometimes they're crying. It's been life changing for a lot of these communities. As I've said prior to that, funding's really tight, and these aren't big things. I mean, they're small, but they just make people's life so much easier, and that's what we're really proud of. And again, Ross at Jetson, I mean, he's just been just been fantastic. Been able to contact him, made friends with secretary. I think she's sick of hearing from me, but it's just great. Like they're taking the time out to spend time to speak to us. They're understanding the impact. And again, I mean, we laugh and joke about it. When Brian went to pick up the guitars and the banjos and that, we were hilarious because originally we thought it was 3 guitars, and then he's coming back with banjos and violins, and it was just great. And again, if they've got anything like that coming in, they're making contact and saying, listen, these are really good condition. Are they really good? Can we share them with anybody? So again, as I say, just been absolutely amazing, and hopefully one day we'll be having you up here as our supplier and getting that wee bit of promotion. It'd be great.
And actually, something that Heather maybe very touched on there is Jetson's also one of these companies that actually there is lots of wishes on the website, but they do get in contact with us if they've got something, and then if that item's not, like, I'll just say like a computer desk, for example, because that does come up now and again. But if we don't have a wish on there, because of myself and Heather, we work out in the communities nearly every day, chances are we maybe know of a group that might actually be looking for it. So it's always want to say, if there's things out there and you do want to support a local community group and you can't see a wish, do still get in touch with us, because actually sometimes it's easier, sometimes we'll find we can match up that kind of wish as well. But I also just want to add, because it's actually quite funny that we're talking about the wish list, that actually right now just across the road is another wish that's getting answered. So another supplier is donated £100 worth of food to a kind of food bank type organisation. It's funny, I'm looking out the window and I'm trying to see if they're out there just now, but we know that's happening just now. So another wish, and it's something so simple as £100 worth of food to go into this kind of food bank where they massively obviously need it in kind of today, what's going on today.
As you say, Brian, it's probably one of the silliest things because it's an actual tyre company, so you automatically they're going to donate tyres, and it's not that. Obviously as staff they came together, they've saved up this £100 between them, and they're desperate to get it spent, so it's been brilliant.
So after all,
so I think
on you go, Heather.
Oh, you find this me? So what we're hoping for is for everybody to get in touch. I know we've been on about it, and we're so passionate, and we're desperate to become first name terms with these and make these wishes a reality for the majority of these community groups. As I say, contact us at any time. Please answer. I know we're going into a question and answer thing. If you would like to ask anything, ask away. We just want you to be part of it. And as I say, the passion that we have for it has just been at the level with groups and for sectors and different stuff. The impact and is just it's and it'd be something that's shared even wider than South Lanarkshire, which we know hopefully it will be at some point. But I think after that, Brian will be happy just to go in and get to the nitty-gritty question and answer.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll kind of pass on to kind of Fran, Jen, whoever's going to help with the kind of questions. I'm going to stop sharing my screen as well, so you'll all get to see my face probably a bit more now. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, mind you. So
it's a great thing. I mean, cheery face. Let me just stop the recording there.